Well, we didn't get any big announcements, and that's noticeable because when he came into the summit yesterday, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg was really warning that Ukraine is in danger of running out of ammunition. He says right now Ukraine is going through more ammunition than the Western allies can provide, and there are severe shortages among Western allies, even domestically. So he was really urging that new defense contracts be signed to provide that ammunition to the NATO allies so that they in turn can provide it to Ukraine. So the big question was whether we were going to get any big defense contract provision announcements over these 2 days. There hasn't really been anything major. The U.S. had some news, but really I think this was setting up the urgency, and then maybe we'll see some of those deals to come. One thing that was really clearly not on the table today was planes for Ukraine. So yesterday when Ukrainian President Zelensky was touring European capitals, he was pleading for Western allies to send planes to Ukraine. But early on in this summit, Secretary General Stoltenberg really ruled that out, saying, yes, we'll talk about it, but that's so far in the future, and the urgent need right now is to get the things already agreed, so tanks, anti-aircraft systems, and most importantly, ammunition over to Ukraine. One movement that I have detected here is it's seeming more and more likely that Finland may be about to join NATO without Sweden. Of course, Turkey is holding up Sweden's bid to join the bloc. When asked whether NATO's position as this has changed, Secretary General Stoltenberg said in his press conference just an hour ago that it's not up to NATO, that basically Turkey has 2 ratification documents. If they choose to ratify only Finland, then Finland's in. So really this is up to Turkey. But then he also suggested actually this is up to Finland because the final ratification has to come from the Finnish parliament. So it's still possible that Finland, out of solidarity, will say, no, we're not joining NATO without Sweden. But people I've talked to here think that's a rather unlikely scenario. In any event, it's clear that NATO won't stand in the way. But Stoltenberg is going to try to convince Turkey. He's headed to Turkey later today. Tomorrow, he will meet with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and try to convince him to stop blocking Sweden's entry bid.
On Ukraine and on that Russian spring offensive, that predicted offensive that we've been hearing so much about, what is the thinking today in NATO on how to approach that?
Well, we just heard from U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin that he thinks Ukraine has a very, very good shot of beating back this coming expected Russian surge in the spring. And that's because he noted Russia has a lot of people. That's their main strength. But what they're sending to the battlefield right now are inexperienced people and ill-equipped missions, not the best equipment. Ukraine is going to be coming at this with less people, but he says because of the cooperation of NATO allies, the Ukrainian soldiers will be better equipped and better skilled. But the key is, of course, getting that equipment over to Ukraine. So that was really the time pressure here. I mean, Stoltenberg said essentially that Russian surge has already started. And so Ukraine has to get this equipment in time for that Russian surge. But the leaders here seemed genuinely confident that if Ukraine can get that equipment from NATO, if they can get that training in time, then they have a very good chance of beating back that expected Russian surge in the spring.
OK, well, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much, Dave. Dave Keating there in Brussels.